Brewing begins with malting. The barley is steeped in water to encourage germination and growth of the grain, which is then dried with hot air in a process called kilning. Through this process, we achieve the desired state of the malt: lightly kilned malts for lighter colored beers, roasted malts for darker colored beers. Milling is when the malted barley is crushed down to make grist, to allow access to the starches and nutrients in the grain. Same principle as grinding coffee, how you release all the flavor. Mashing. The grist is mixed with hot water to create nutrient-dense sugary liquid called wort by converting starches into sugars. Mashing is where the body, sweetness, malt flavor, and fermentability is set in a beer. Lautering. The process of separating the sweet, malty-tasting liquid called extract from the grain. Lautering, which means to separate, maximizes sugar extraction and leaves behind spent grain. Brewers boil the wort for sterilization and add hops for bitterness, flavor, and aroma. Hops added early in the boil contribute bitterness, but little aroma. Hops added near the end or after the boil will contribute to more flavors and aroma and less bitterness than early additions. It's common to add other ingredients to drive flavor in beer. Blue Moon Belgian White adds Valencia orange peel and coriander to the boil, in addition to hops to provide flavor. Fermentation. After cooling down the boiled wort to yeast-friendly temperatures, yeast is added and oxygen is provided for the yeast growth. The fermentable sugars in the wort are metabolized by the yeast and converted into alcohol, CO2, and flavor. Dry hopping. Hops are steeped in the beer during or after fermentation like tea leaves. This will impart a large dose of hop flavor and aroma. The maturation process cools off the beer, collects unwanted solids, and refines the flavor profile by cleaning out green apple and buttery flavors. Aging and barrel aging. A few high alcohol or intensely flavored beer styles can develop interesting flavors if they're aged properly. Beers that age well, darker malt character, high ABV, lambics, and wild ales. A wood or barrel-aged beer is one that's been aged for a period of time in a wooden barrel or in contact with wood. This beer is aged with the intention of imparting a unique character of the wood and or the flavor of what has been previously in the barrel. Some will be affected by bacteria and wild yeast that can live in the pores of the wooden barrels. Clarification and filtration. Some beers are filtered to create a crystal clear beer, while others are not, to preserve a more full mouthfeel and depth of flavor like Blue Moon Belgian White. Finally, packaging and carbonation. The finished beer is carbonated and put into bottles, cans, or kegs. Some brewers will choose to carbonate the beer by adding a little sugar and yeast to the package to achieve a desired level of carbonization called bottle conditioning.